Pat from beautiful Boise, Idaho. He said, you keep saying that the big brokers in college football are media executives. Do you really think they care about the sport, or do they just care about the bottom dollar? I think they care about the bottom dollar. That's what it's about. I think they care about bottom dollar, making a lot of money. But, you know, Pat, that's what you care about when you go to work as well. So it is very popular to demonize college football TV executives, or TV executives in general who are overseeing college football. I want to tell you that you shouldn't stop feeling that way. I feel that way. It pisses me off to no end what these people do to the sport sometimes. And I work with a lot of them. I know them. I could call them right now and put them on speakerphone. And who knows, maybe one day we'll have to resort to that. But what I don't think the general college football fan understands is how much your voice matters. You think it's never mattered less. I'm telling you it's never mattered more. You just don't realize why. So I'm talking to our audience. Our audience is normal college football fans. I am a normal college football fan. That's why I know how you feel about this stuff, because you feel how I feel. In fact, I get even madder than some of you guys get about it. So you have to talk me off the ledge from time to time. Here's the thing about TV executives. Most of them are not from our world. Most of them did not grow up immersed in college football. College football is not part of their DNA. The NFL is, Major League Baseball is, the NBA is. They disproportionately grew up in northern cities. They disproportionately grew up pro sports fans, and college football was kind of something they were aware of, and now they're in charge of, and they know the what, but they don't know the why. That doesn't make them bad people. It makes them uninformed people. They know the what. They could speak dollars and cents. They know the television numbers, the viewership, the demographics. They know that stuff better than you do. They could run circles around you and I when it comes to describing and defining that. That's the what. What they don't know, that you and I do know, is the why. Why are those numbers so big? They could tell you, oh, passion, man, people love college football. They couldn't get any deeper than that. If you really asked them to describe a Clemson fall Saturday, hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, make sure you do. It's free. It doesn't obligate you or sign you up for anything. It just helps us keep the channel free. All right, back to the show. Like if you really asked them to tangibly describe what makes a college football rivalry, like granularly describe that like we did 2 shows ago, I think it was, they'd be lost. They know that. They know that. I know because I know a lot of these folks. And they admittedly get a little insecure when they're in those kinds of conversations because they don't know. The good news is ignorance is not always ill will. Just because some of these folks who are making big decisions that affect this sport are not necessarily as knowledgeable about the sport as you and I, does not mean they have ill will towards the sport. It doesn't mean that they have, diabolical aspirations to tear the sport apart. They just don't know. Here's where your voice comes in. This I can assure you of. Conversations as recently as this past week have reaffirmed my belief that I've never been more sure that the college football fan's voice matters. More so now than it ever has. But you listen to me say that and you say, I don't believe that. Because there have never been more changes happening to this sport that I don't like than there are right now. I don't push back on that. I don't like them either. I'm right there with you guys. I don't like a lot of them either. But your voice matters because of this. Think about it in any walk of life. It could be college football. It could be your own place of business. It could be your family. It could be your dating life. Whatever it is, ask yourself this. When is a person most likely to seek feedback? And the answer to that is normally when they're the least informed. Now, if they're insecure, then they're not going to do that. So you have to hope these are people that are pretty secure. These are 7-figure, 8-figure per year earners, so they're pretty financially secure. They want what's best for business. College football flourishing is what's best for business, long term. Short term, you could cut corners, make a quick buck at the expense of the future of the sport, but long-term earnings are going to be tied to college football flourishing, which is tied to you being happy with the product and you continuing to tune in. Every television executive wants that. Everybody who runs a company that owns college football media rights deals wants that. A lot of them don't know college football and what makes it great. They know that it is great. They know that it is profitable, but they couldn't beat themselves intellectually out of a wet paper bag when it comes to describing why it's great. But that doesn't make them bad people. That doesn't mean they have ill will towards the sport. It just makes them uninformed, which means if they're worth their salt and they're uninformed on something that they hold in their hand, they want to be informed about it, which makes your voice really important. Makes a show like this really important. I know this because this is feedback I got this past week from some very important people. And what they said is, I learn a lot from watching that show, from looking at the Twitter interactions that you guys have. Some of them you show on your show. Some of them you do yourself in your own social feeds. I learn a lot. We comb through it. We listen to the shows. We watch the shows, not just ours, other shows as well, that feature college football diehards, P1s as they would call them in their industry. This is the moment in time where there's a lot of inflection happening, huge inflection point. Okay, and you got some people who may not know a ton about the history of college football and what makes it great and what makes you and I love it more so than any other sport out there, and they're in charge of it. They want to be informed. You got to inform them. Now, here's the follow-up to that. Just because you tell someone, if you're a Penn State fan, that what makes me love this sport is we get one game a year where we get a whiteout. And you guys are ruining it because you keep taking that game and putting it at noon. Just because that makes you mad and you express that doesn't automatically mean the powers that be are going to adjust. And it's because it's a delicate process. You put yourself in their shoes for a second, if you can imagine this. Put yourself in the shoes of a network executive at a network that holds the rights to Big Noon Kickoff, for example. You take a stand that strong, and you're taking a quick trip to the exit door. Because a lot of these places, understand this please, a lot of these places, if you took a stand that strong, if you took a stand that would cut that much into revenue, the network would not change its approach. The network would change the person that holds your chair, that holds your title. They'd just replace you. They wouldn't replace their way of thinking. You cannot do that stuff overnight. You can't take a wrecking ball to the philosophies of these places that are used to making big money off of these games that they've paid to acquire, by the way. So what you have to do is you have to look for the small wins. You have to incrementally impact change or inform change in decision-making in college football. And that is a little more tedious a process. I will grant you that. And it doesn't always make us happy. But to answer the question, no, I think most of them are worried about the bottom line. But the thing about it long-term is what's best for bottom line, what's best for business in college football can't be achieved unless you're happy enough to be watching. And what I'll never do is I'll never insult your intelligence on this show, at least, enough to where I yell in your face, doesn't matter how you feel. You're going to tune in anyway. Like, what does that really mean? Like, yeah, man, a lot of us are going to watch college football almost no matter what. I really don't know. For me personally, I don't know what would have to happen for me not to watch this sport. That doesn't mean I'm happy about everything. And also, you're not gearing it towards me, per se. I'm the last one that'll be out the door. I'm at the party until the end. But if the crowd thins out from 100 to 91, and from 91 to 86, and 86 to 79, you got a problem on your hands. Just because I'm still here doesn't mean the party's not dying. So if your sport starts to erode, if some of the top layers of viewership or engagement or whatnot start to erode, you got to do a self-assessment then, instead of waiting for like the last dude to walk out the door, because by then it's much too late.